Welcome back to another Tera Plays Tera video. Today we're going to go over Menma's the Dream, also known as Tera Menma's 2.1 Shatter the Dream patch notes. And the first thing I want to start off with is at the very top, as you can see, the new PvE Dormant Brooch and Mask. The Dormant Brooch and Blood Pack skills is a new brooch, will be available with the update functionality. The brooch and the Blood Pack skill can be acquired by completing the Blood for Blood story quest that you can obtain once your item level is 501 or higher. This brooch can be upgraded 3 times just like the current gear set, unlocking a new stat each time you upgrade it. These lines are predetermined and they cannot be changed. The brooch in this skill is slightly different, and as such, they may require some explanation. We'll go over that now. Using the brooch will apply a 160-second cooldown where you can be affected by any other brooch. This applies after the Blood Pack skill ends. You can either slot the brooch item or slot the Blood Pack skill to your hotbar. It's up to you which you prefer, or if you want both on your hotbar, as they will have different pros and cons. So basically, you can slot this just like if you want 2 different Noctaniums. If you want to use the red and blue Noct, you have to put them in different spots of your hotbar. Works the same way. You can use the brooch item while stunned. You cannot use the Blood Pack skill while stunned. Note that neither of these show the correct cooldown. You'll need to look at your debuff to determine your correct cooldown. Hopefully they'll change that, but for right now, you'll have to look at your buff bar. The main benefits of having it work this way is that the skill can be reset using the unstable bomb of cooling when defeating dungeons and bosses. The Blood Pack skill reduces PvP damage by 90% to prevent use in PvP. So, in other words, this skill is really meant for PvE only. If you want to risk it and use it in PvP, do know it's going to reduce your damage by 90%, so I don't know why you would even do that. There's no risk, it's just bad. So it's mostly a PvE skill. Who knows, maybe down the road they'll make a PvP version of the skill. We'll see. The Dormant Mask. You can receive a new mask from the same Blood for Blood quest that was previously mentioned. Just like the brooch, the mask can also be upgraded 3 times. So, that's all the new stuff besides, the stuff we'll get into. Super cool to see a new, completely masked brooch being added to the game, and it seems like they're adding a whole new skill for every class, which is really, really unique. I'll be interested to play around with that, and of course, as soon as I get some of this stuff, I'll make a video explaining it into more detail when I can. Now, let's get into PvE dungeon changes. The biggest thing is that 3 dungeons are being opened, and that is Velic Sanctuary Hard Mode, Lumicon's Drain, and Lumicon's Drain Hard. So here's a closer look at Velic Sanctuary Hard Mode, just showing you the boss. So the devs have been making multiple changes to PvE from the original dungeon. This is a Menma's exclusive Velic Sanctuary, basically. So that's really cool. I'm super excited to hopefully eventually grind the gear and try out what they've changed, because personally, I hate Velic Sanctuary. I've always hated how glitchy it's been on console. I've just generally hated the hitboxes of the bosses. I've just never cared for the mechs. This is a personal opinion. I'm hoping a lot of that stuff will be different in this exclusive version to try out. So, really excited to see that. Now we'll go over Lumicon's Drain a bit. Do know it's very important to the questline that we've just explained, and that players will have to get against a 501 or higher, and they can start it by speaking to Hesam and Balderon. The the rewards you get from completing it are 5 Lumikin's wings, 10 Essence of Power, 10 Monster Cores. You'll get the Mask, the Brooch, and the skill all once you complete the questline. Additionally, they wanted to fix some annoyances with the dungeon that people might be familiar with on retail, and that is that Valkyrie's God's Fall will no longer cause them to die during her cage mech. Her skull mechanic now shows the timer on her bar, and this is, a change that has been made to, force players to actually, you don't have to share screens, you don't have to have third-party mods to complete the dungeon. Again, I'm not the best because when we recently just received her on console, basically just me and the healer communicate as a tank and healer. When our skull hits 7 and we just touch, we see it on our bar. It seems Menma wants to delete that factor, that you don't have to communicate, everyone gets to see it, and it makes more sense. Again, console might have changed it completely for all I know. I've actually not seen PC version of her, but I do think it's really cool that they are thinking ahead of how can we make it so people don't have to use these extra mods or share screen to complete a mech with communication. So, kudos to them for thinking outside the box. I really appreciate stuff like that. Dreadspire, they've increased the Mania's cool drop chance to 33%. It was originally 10%. Leaderboards have also had a change, that being the ranking title for Lumico Stream Hard has a unique loop. The titles for ranking leaderboards have been updated for Velik Sanctuary Hard. First place gets God's Bane, second or third gets Keeper of Sanctuary. For Lumico's Dream Hard, first place gets Savior of the Dream, second and third get Prophet of the Dream. Then leaderboards rank 1 through 3 now are rewarded untradeable rare blood shard boxes rather than the untradeable intact blood shard boxes. So basically, if you get rank 1 and 3, you get a upgraded crystal. Next, let's get into some Vanguard request changes. Thus being Shadow Sanctuary and AA had a change in rewards. When you complete the dungeon, instead of getting 4 Souls of Fragments and 4 Lightning Orbs, you'll receive 20. Instead of getting 1 Dice of Destiny, you get 2. And instead of getting dungeon-specific Gaia material, you'll get 10 instead of 5. For Timescape and Velik Sanctuary, the Souls and Orbs went from 6 to 30, Dice of Destiny have went 1 to 3, and again, the Gaia's material is going from 5 to 10. For Red Refuge Hard and Velik's Hold Hard, you'll get 20 Arcane Rune Swords and Raging Shards instead of 4, and you'll get 2 Demon's Horns instead of 1. For Darkreach Citadel Hard and Shadow Sanctuary Hard, they've upped the Piece of Dicurion's Experiment from 8 to 20, Elemental Shards from 4 to 10, and Blood Core 1 to 2. There is a note here exclusive to Shadow Sanctuary Hard. I don't know if that's meant to be Blood Core is only 1 to 2 for that, or if there's meant to be more data down here. So again, I apologize, I haven't logged on to see this exact change. Feel free to let me know in the comment section down below if you know, yes, it's just a Blood Core, or maybe there's something more specific for Shadow Sanctuary that was just missed in this. Alright, class changes. There's a lot of class changes coming, so buckle up, prepare, here we go. For Archer, Windsong, they've reduced the final cooldown by 1 second, so it's now 78.5 seconds. For Radiant Arrow, they've increased the overcharge bonus damage from 5.9% to 12.4% per tick. For Penetrating Arrow, they've also increased the overcharge damage bonus. It was originally 9.2, it is now 15%. For Zerks, your Thunderstrike, they've increased your overcharge bonus damage from 18.89 to 20.79 per tick. For Cyclone, they've also increased your overcharge damage bonus from 20.4 all the way to 22.46% per tick. Brawler, Growing Fury Irregular. They've increased the damage while affected by Growing Fury Irregular by 10%, or about 10%. Now uses a previously unused icon to more easily differentiate which version you're using, and it looks like that on the screen. Haymaker for weak spot thrusts. It now affects both backside rather than just back damage. So if you're off the side, you'll still get the bonus, whereas if you're just, before, if you're off the side, you didn't get it unless you're in the back. I apologize. Counterglyph, a power link, can no longer be activated while in Growing Fury Irregular. So if you have the counterglyph, the power link, and you try to block to get that, extra power link, you'll no longer be able to do that while in the DPS form of Brawler. Mystics, your Arun's Vita and Arun's Tear, they've reduced the base cooldown from 11 to 5 seconds. Runic Release for PvE, they've reduced your cooldowns from 11 to 8.3. They've also reduced the healing of them by 25%. The Brawler Protection, the shield now applies 0.3 seconds faster. For ninjas, they've increased your PvE damage by 5%. This is basically, they've increased damage bonus while affected by Adrenaline Rush by 2% as well. Burning Heart, they made an internal change to Burning Heart to alleviate bugs related to its cooldown. The Cycle Cheat now increased range skills critical hit chance from 30 to 50% to match the non-inner Harmony version. For Decoy Jutsu, they've reduced the base cooldown from 10 to 9 seconds. For Impact Bomb, the Corrosive Bomb, they've changed the effect as follow: increase the caster's attack speed by 1% for 15 seconds, and it'll stack up to 5 times. The duration can be refreshed. I apologize, English is hard sometimes. For Inner Harmony, they've reverted the 4% damage reduction change. For Priests, they've reduced the damage, or they've reduced all of your PvE damage by 45%. Your Divine Charge, they've increased the buff duration up to 22 seconds. This makes it possible to refresh the buff, leading to 100% uptime being possible. For Triple Nemesis, they've increased the range from 18 to 25 meters. So if you like to play a little farther away from the boss, you're able to still hit the boss now. Reapers, they've reduced all PvE damage by 2%, but they have increased the Reaper's attack speed by 10% when equipping a Blood Shard weapon. Binding Scythes will no longer require 50 stacks to deal maximum damage, now just requiring a single stack. They fixed an issue where 2 or more Reapers Binding Scythes would not work at once. That's actually funny. I have a story about that. We'll get into that, I apologize. PvPs reduce damage by 50% to account for the aforementioned stack change. Dark Harvest, they've increased the window where Enhanced Shadowburst and Enhanced Soldering Strike are active from 3 to 3.25 seconds. Death Spiral, they've reduced the base cooldown from 6 to 4.5 seconds. Grim Strike, they've reduced the damage by 15%. But for the King Grim Strike, they've changed the effect triple crit factor to double crit chance. So, Retribution, after a successful hit of Retribution, all attacks are considered back attacks for 5 seconds. Shadow Burst can now cancel the animation of Shadow Reaping to prevent ghosting. Shadow Reaping has its cooldown reduced from 80 to 78 seconds. They force EP, so increased power from 10 to 18. And Quick Shadow Reaping has increased attack speed from 4 to 6% per stack while hitting a monster. Shrouded Escape, they've reduced the cooldown from 70 to 68 seconds. So Reaper's Ultimate, any Reaper fans, let me know. I'm actually curious. On console, Reapers have this issue as well, But if you time it, like let's say you all go 3, 2, 1 and use the skill together, all cages will still apply. So I wonder if that's something that PC had, just people didn't time it, or if it strictly was like one Reaper only. But I'm glad that they looked into it and fixed it, because I know a lot of Reaper friends who despise playing with other Reapers sometimes, because yeah, that issue, that's kind of cool. I'm glad they looked into that. Sorcerer, your implosion has been reduced base cooldown from 237 seconds to 232 seconds. Slayers, your energy rush passive for PvE no longer has multiple stacks, now providing the maximum effect with a single stack. ICB reduced the final cooldown by 1 second, so it's now 78.5 seconds. For Valkyrie, they've increased all your PvE damage by 1.5%, and they've reduced the cooldown of God's Fall from 275 down to 262 seconds. That is all the class changes. Alright, let's get into PvE Gear Changes. They've added a rare Bloodshard box which drops from Lumicon Stream Hard, Bellic Sanctuary Hard, and Dreadspire's 8 through 10 floors. The Swift Bloodshard. They've adjusted the Swift Bloodshard to be more appearing. That being, for the Shattered, they've increased the attack speed from 1.33 to 1.6, while reduced the damage dealt from 0.64 to 4%, or 0.4%, I apologize. For Intact, they've increased the attack speed from 2.66 to 3.2, and damage dealt 1.28 down to 0.8. For the Rare, attack speed is 4% up to 4.8. Reduced damage 1.92 down to 1.2%. They've increased the attack speed of the Superior from 5.33 up to 6.4. The reduced damage dealt is 2.56 down to 1.6. And for the Mythic, they've increased the attack speed. It was 6.66 all the way up to 8%, and the reduced damage was originally 3.2 down to 2%. So that's just the small PvE. Gear Changes was just to the attack speed crystals. Next we'll go into some general content. First, we have the Baldera World Boss. They've reduced his HP by 20%. They slightly lowered the drop rate of Monster Cores and Essence of Power, and they slightly buffed the drop rate of Fragment of Souls and Lightning Orbs. For the Arun's Legacy Mission Board, they've added a chance of Bellic Sanctuary and Timescape missions to appear into the higher grades with reduced rewards. They reduced the price of the Eternal Pets. They were originally 2,000, now they are 500 credits. They reduced the price of Lightning Orb, Fragment of Soul, and Dice of Destiny from 11, 11, and 53 down to 5, 5, and 25 credits. So Lightning Orb and Fragment of Souls used to be 11, they're now 5. Dice used to be 53, they're now 25. They've added Bellic Sanctuary Hard Mode mission into the thing, as well as they've added Lumicon Stream and Lumicon Stream Hard onto the Legacy board. For the Nuzlocke maps and the Intelligent Reports, they've updated the rewards and loot. You can now obtain a Nuzlocke's map from these following dungeons, being Shadow Sanctuary, AA, Bellic Sanctuary, Timescape, Bellic's Hold Hard, Red Refuge Hard, and Lumicon Stream. You can obtain the Intelligent Reports from Lilith's Keep, Rona's Manor, Red Refuge, and Darkreach Citadel. There have been some achievements. They've removed the achievements, the Imperfect Crystal. They've adjusted the speed kill achievement in Bellic Sanctuary Hard to be 6 minutes and 30 seconds. And they've added achievement for Lumicon Stream and Lumicon Stream Hard. PvP Battleground Changes. For Gridarm, they've enabled Duo Q so you can queue with a friend. They've increased the Mystic's healing point gain by 20%, they've lowered Slayer's point gain by 10%, and they've lowered Warrior's point gain by 30%. Some PvP reputation changes are that the the deprection of Battleground specific reputation, Dawn, Moonlight, and Killing Spree reputation can no longer be obtained. NPCs for trading reputations will stay for now before being removed in the near future. So do know, whatever reputation you get for this sort of stuff, consider spending your points while you have the chance, because these NPCs will be getting removed. There is a new overall reputation, this being they've added a new reputation for Battleground. Corsair Stronghold, when you win you'll get 10,000, lose will get 7,000, and the leader will get 13,000. Shorehold, winners will get 5,200, losers get 3,640, and leaders get 8,000. Gridiron, the winner gets 6,500, losers receive 4,550, and leaders receive 10,000. Cost of the new reputation has been adjusted. Championing Scouring Solo now rewards 1,750 reputation points through the Vanguard only when you win. Next we'll go over some PvP Bellica Outskirts Hall. It's just Chronix is now off duty and the Tavern in the Bellica Outskirts Hall. Again, not huge into PvP, so y'all probably have a much better idea what that means than me. I apologize. Lastly, I believe all we have is some miscellaneous and bug fixes, so let's get into that stuff now. The German language is now available for use. Skills including the new Brooch now reset cooldown after the boss dies or resets like in Dreadspire. Remove short buffs to prevent abuse. Gridiron achievements now have their own section in the Battlegrounds tab. They've lowered the sound of all whining mounts, the Freywind, etc. Wing mounts. Sorry, where did I get whining? Wing mounts, so anything that has a wing, dragons, etc. Unidentified icons for endurance debuffs, triple nemesis, volley of curses, combative strike, defense stance, jackhammer have been adjusted. I don't know what that means. Okay. They've adjusted the icons of, oh, I guess that's what that is. These are showing up like this now. I apologize. Yeah, so there you go. If you see this, again, not sure what all of them will be. We'll just have to stay tuned. Adjust the icons of Akasha and Thul's Relic and the Halidom to easily differentiate them. And there's a little example down here. The Superior Vanguard Reward Box and the Vanguard Reward Box are now bankable. Sky Lotuses can now stack up to 99,999. They changed the message size of the guild, or the name someone gives a server buff to avoid screen color. They've added new abnormality to track the cooldowns of 1.5 and 2.0 mounts. The icon matches whichever mount you're using. The icon will show 2.0 prioritized unless you only have a 1.5, in which a 1.5 icon will be shown instead. The Valkyrian health potions no longer has a delay. Thank God, that was so annoying and is annoying on other platforms when you pop a health potion and see you die with 50% HP. Actually a pain, so I'm really glad that they fixed that. And they've adjusted Training Ground Divine Charge to match Priest's new 20-second duration. Bug fixes. They fixed an issue where Pride of the Menma's achievement was in PvP in dual sections. They removed the Dracon's Arena icon from appearing on the Exodore map. They fixed an issue where Dragon's Nest appears in player's profile. They fixed an issue where going below 25% during the shield, during Nightmare Imperator's fight in Shadow Sanctuary Heart would stun the target for the full 30 seconds. They will now be released when he performs the third power-up attack. They fixed an issue where Kalsaic's DPS buff was stackable. High elf males can no longer wear a human male outfit in the character creation. Fixed an issue where Thrall of Vengeance buff in Training Ground was 12 seconds. It is now 20 seconds, what it's meant to be. They fixed an issue where In Equalized Champions, scattering brawlers or a battle mark item as a chess piece. They fixed an issue where Slayers see no string display in instant matchmaking in VHH dungeons. Spectating Jester and Dreadspire no longer has code in its name. Fixed Shattered and Intact Crystal Box being listed twice in Baldero's Rep Vendor, and they fixed an issue where the Forbidden Arena Nightmare Undying Warlord Leaderboard achievement Real Fighter was still visible. So that is all the changes that are coming to Menmas that have actually came to Menmas by the time this video is released. If you got any questions or you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button, ask me anything in the comment section. I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. Do stay tuned by the time this video is released. If you're watching it on release or a day or two after, feel free to head over to my Twitter where on this day, the 23rd, if all goes well, I do plan to be doing a 12-hour Tera Menma stream. I'll probably play through the quest line, we'll go over some stuff, maybe play some music, just have a great time, and that is because on this channel we hit 400 subscribers, so I really appreciate everyone who's been supporting the channel. And within that, if you are new to the channel, or maybe you keep coming back and haven't subscribed, please consider doing so if you do like this content. If